Shannon Joy Show. Hello, world, and welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. We're broadcasting live from the Joy Virtual Studio right here in the beautiful Finger Lakes region of New York State. It's so great to be with all of you today. We're live on Rumble, live on Twitter, live on Spreely TV, Roku TV, Apple TV, Facebook audiences are tuning in to the Shannon Joy Show live today. We're being carried on X America News on Twitter. And of course, we're so thankful for the brilliant, amazing, wonderful, and talented Annie Cyrus, who is producing the Shannon Joy Show today. You guys look great on the live chat. We have CJP Rumble with us today. Rothan Walker has joined us today on the live chat. We have Buskman, Lupine, and a few others. CM1968. Hello, Shay. First to comment. Yay for me. Absolutely. We have a big show for you today. Lots of headlines to hit. The Shannon Joy Show top headlines are listed in the description of the Shannon Joy Show right below the show here on Rumble and on all of our platforms. You can link on those to access them. But you guys have seen the headline today. Peter Schiff, just a couple days ago on his show, which is linked in the show notes, Donald Trump just helped pull off the biggest crypto rug pull of all time. It's insider trading, y'all. And if it's not okay for Nancy Pelosi to do it in secret, well, then it's definitely not okay for Donald Trump to do it harder in broad daylight while giving us all the middle finger, which is kind of exactly what he did over the weekend. I've been teasing this on the Shannon Joy Show for the past couple days because this is a big topic. I have a lot of clips for you today. We pulled them this morning. I want to say between 16 and 20 minutes of clips of Peter Schiff on his platform on YouTube explaining exactly what happened over the weekend. You guys have to understand what they're doing. The in our face insider trading in broad daylight, and it's going to cause some major, major problems, not just for the American people, but for the free market economy and also for the Trump administration themselves, right? Because the Democrats are absolutely going to seize on this, with which Peter explains very succinctly in some of the clips that we're going to show for you today. As a market analyst, you guys know Peter Schiff. He's been on the Shannon Joy Show for quite some time. Couldn't get him this week because he's super busy, but we are going to work on getting him either next week or the week after to talk about this trend. It is the normalization of insider trading. It is the normalization of crony capitalism. It is in your face. They're not hiding it. They're not trying to sneak it by. They're basically establishing with the American people that we're going to do this. We're going to cheat. We're going to make our buddies rich and our families and ourselves. We're going to do it right in front of your face. There's nothing you can do about it. That is a big problem. That establishment of a new paradigm, shifting the Overton window away from, at least, last year and the year before, conservatives would agree, especially fiscal conservatives, that insider trading and cronyism within Washington, D.C., or the revolving door, as RFK talked about in so many of his speeches during the election, that, well, that's a bad thing. Now we're just kind of ignoring it, and in some cases, even celebrating it. I'm hearing conservatives actually defend this, right? Well, we got to suspend the Constitution and the free market in order to save the free market. Well, the Democrats are so bad that we need a guy with a heavy hand to come in and hand all of the government functionality and the money over to Elon Musk, PayPal Mafia, and Silicon Valley, right? And just submit it to AI. Tom Massey was on the Daniel Horowitz show yesterday, basically blowing the whistle on the budget. They are cutting nothing, absolutely nothing. And they're also messing with our money. They're messing with our dollar, and they are manipulating crypto in a breathtaking way. If they plan on dumping all of us, every American, onto a new global cryptocurrency, whether it's a private stablecoin or token or a central banking digital currency that is connected to world markets, we need to understand how easily they can manipulate our money. If you thought manipulating the dollar was easy, think again. If you thought the manipulations that we even see in the metals markets are easy, wait until they get control of everything. Warning, 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 your money is at stake. So we are going to hit this hard today in the second half of the Shannon Joy Show. I'm not sure why this needs to be said, right? But I'll say it because no one else in Connie Inc. will. All of the other headliners are blowing smoke up your new, you know what, about Doge and cuts and executive orders when nothing is really changing. But here's the bottom line: insider trading and market manipulation by the government class, whether they're Democrats or Republicans, is wrong, and it should be opposed by all reasonable people, especially the little people like us who are going to be left holding the bag when they pump and dump, which they did over the weekend. And you're going to understand exactly how it works thanks to the very diligent work of Peter Schiff. So we're going to lean heavily on his analysis today and play all of those videos for you. I broke it up, I think, into 5 or 6 segments. So we'll run all of them, but this is a very important concept that every American needs to understand so that you can protect yourself and so that you don't get drawn in to the Bitcoin, stablecoin, token, meme coin, pump and dump scams that are absolutely rampant. So, and the reason is, I mean, why should we oppose this? Well, because it's inherently unfair, corrupt, and a complete bastardization of free markets and even capitalism, if you can even call this a capitalist country anymore. So Schiff tweeted out just a couple days ago, Donald Trump, the first crypto president, just helped to pull off the biggest crypto rug pull of all time. A congressional investigation is now warranted, says Peter Schiff, to find out the following regarding this pump and dump scheme. It is critical that free market, fiscal conservatives, and constitutional conservatives stand up to this normalization of communism, socialism, fascism, whatever ism you want to call it. That's what it is. This is an elite class with access to information, getting rich off the back of regular people in markets that are supposed to be public. We're gonna cover this and more today on the Shannon Joy Show. So thank you for Peter Schiff. I highly recommend you follow him. He has a YouTube channel, very well established, and just so much common sense every day. If you think that the markets are super complicated and hard to understand, they really aren't. Peter Schiff is one of the best explainers out there on all of the markets, currency devaluation, the economy, leading indicators, and clearly these new crypto markets, which he calls Ponzi schemes, pyramid Ponzi schemes. And I happen to agree with that. X comment from Sherry. Okay, not even remotely interested in this. They are trying to save the country. And the deep state and banks are already planning the crypto stuff. All right. Okay, Sherry, go ahead and buy the crypto. Buy into the meme coins and the Doge coins and Melania's coins. Go ahead and sink your life savings into it. I feel terribly for people who are going to trust the people pumping this schemes, but you know, I guess it is a free market-ish and a free world. And if you want to go ahead and fall for it, well, then just turn the channel. Why don't you go watch your, favorite right-wing influencer, commentator, who are, by the way, being paid to promote this administration. Go and benefit from their analysis. I'm sure it is very good. You guys are fantastic on the live chat. Let's say hello and take up some of your comments. We have a lot of stories to get to today. If you scroll down, you see the top headlines. today I go through all of the headlines. One of the toughest parts of my job, as you all know, is editorial, right? The fire hose in the face of the news cycle every day. And I have changed the way I show prep. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about my morning routine in a moment. I am taking back my humanity. I am unplugging from the algorithms. I don't want to be run by these social media algorithms anymore. And so I've completely changed up my morning routine. I'm going to tell you guys about that because it's changing the way that I build this show.
Trump is fully in the process of draining the swamp, but the uncertainty for many is, will he expose the entire pandemic? There is enough public evidence for folks to be concerned who injected themselves in this experiment. If you were forced to get the shot to work, travel, or maybe you just trusted the system back then, check out this natural solution formulated by Dr. Peter McCullough in collaboration with the Wellness Company. And they just leveled up their original detox formula for $30 less. Introducing the 3-in-1 Ultimate Spike Detox, conveniently consolidated into one capsule, with 4 times more nattokinase, 500 milligrams of bromelain, and 500 milligrams of turmeric root extract. Nattokinase, an enzyme researched for its anti-clotting effects, may work to break down spike proteins. Combined with bromelain and curcumin, it provides a potent blend for detoxification and cellular support. Crafted with 100% natural ingredients, Ultimate Spike Detox is backed by research, offering effective support for your cell's natural repair and recovery. Experience the only formula approved and used by Dr. Peter McCullough, a top freedom-fighting doctor who risked it all. Head to dailycloudhealth.com and use code DailyCloud to get 10% off plus free shipping. Again, that's dailycloudhealth.com and use code DailyCloud to get 10% off. Get back to that pre-COVID feeling.
Every day. And I hope it's going to be a better show and a very different show than what you see anywhere else, right? Because so much is so manipulated and driven by these algorithms and the platforming of some questionable characters. So at the beginning of every morning, I go through and I scour the headlines, and I do it a little bit in the afternoon after I finish the show. And I pull out the ones that I think are going to be the most important to you for a variety of reasons. A lot of these are stories that will not be covered on any other conservative platforms and lightly covered on mainstream news media. So the Tate story is a really great example of that. You're not going to see it on Bongino. You're not going to see it on any of the platform shows here on Rumble or on the platform shows on Twitter. You're going to have to dig for it. Well, I'll dig for you. I have a story here. The Florida woman victimized by the Tates needs protection from them, says her attorney, Danny Pinter, who we are in contact with now, trying to get her booked for the Shannon Joy Show. We'll bring her in just as soon as we can. This is from the Independent, right? We had to go international in order to get reporting on this story because it is very light here in the U.S. But after the announcement yesterday of James Ootmeyer that they will be pursuing criminal charges in an investigation on the Tate brothers, Andrew Tate announces on Twitter last night, that, well, he's going to go back to Romania. So I don't think that they were expecting to, go out of the fire and into the furnace, right? Because here in Florida, not sure why the guys picked Florida, but they did. Governor Ron DeSantis isn't playing. So this story, again, suppressed. I have this important aspect. They are fully victimizing, harassing, suing, and making generally miserable and terrified some of the victims, one in particular in Florida, who will likely be pursuing charges. So there is a full story on that. And also I have a incredibly graphic and disturbing video of Andrew Tate beating a 14 to 15-year-old young girl. This was Vivian, who he entrapped many years ago, over a decade ago, in violent sex games. This video now has garnered 20 million views on Twitter, despite the algorithms suppressing Nathan Livingstone, who is Milk Bar TV and one of the leading warriors for the past year and a half, bringing light to this Tate case. This video is so disturbing. We're not going to run it on the show today because thank God, thank you, Jesus, it is penetrating through the PSYOP and it's penetrating through the firewalls that are put up to protect the Tates. And sadly, as I've mentioned to you, the top protectors of the Tates at this point are Elon Musk and Donald Trump, the Trump administration. They are the most powerful, and they are running a complete protection racket around the Tate brothers. In fact, Elon Musk granted the Tates a massive audience on Twitter. He unsuspended their account back when he bought the company and also handed them at the very least $20,000 in cash to become premium and platformed content creators on Twitter. There is no indication that that is not persisting. And because he gifted the Tate brothers millions upon millions of followers because of likely algorithmic preference, we don't have evidence on that yet, but I would imagine that there is. And I wish that there were some investigative journalists that would look into that. But it appears that the Tates are promoted heavily on Twitter, and we know that there's money exchanged, at the very least $20,000. So it is a miracle that this is pushing through, and we are going to continue to cover this story. So those are included in the top headlines of March 6th, 2025. We also have the full video of Peter Schiff and his analysis on Trump's pump and dump crypto scheme over the weekend, if you want to access that full video. And then before we get to the Peter Schiff story, two stories that I want to go into a little more deeply today. Two of them they're just wonderful news. So I want to lead with the good news today on the Shannon Joy Show. So when we come back from the first break, we're going to get into a Children's Health Defense exclusive. President of Children's Health Defense, Mary Holland, will be live in Rochester, New York on March 29th for the Summit for Truth and Wellness. Get your tickets. We could sell out. We're filling up that room in Rochester very quickly. And we have an amazing lineup, as you know, Dr. Pierre Corey, Dr. Mary Talley Bowden, Mary Holland, and of course, the amazing Dr. Naomi Wolf, among others. Sasha Latipova is going to be with us next week on the Shannon Joy Show. She's coming to Rochester, New York, along with Jeff Dornick, Werner Mendenhall, and Paul Stone, who will be with us tomorrow on the Shannon Joy Show to talk about these crazy crypto markets and also their impact on gold and silver. Remaining incredibly strong. Gold and silver are just getting stronger and stronger and stronger. It's why everyone needs a gold and silver plan, a metals plan. And Paul Stone, CEO of Colonial Metals Group, is so gracious. He comes onto the Shannon Joy Show on a regular basis and answers all your questions about these markets. So he's going to be with us live tomorrow on the Shannon Joy Show. Back to Children's Health Defense. They have an exclusive story that I've linked in the show notes of today's show. And I had a conversation yesterday, last night, with this amazing doctor, Dr. Ben Edwards, out of Lubbock, Texas, with a bombshell story. First and foremost, there are more questions about the child who tragically perished in Lubbock, Texas. This is being pumped out by our federal government and HHS as a measles death. But there are a lot of questions about that story. And Dr. Edwards is in direct contact and treating other children of the family that was tragically impacted by this horrifying death that could have been prevented. This is also a story, though, of a community and a town coming together to provide alternate treatment for children. They saved so many lives. This story is not being promoted or pushed out because they saved those lives in Texas amidst this measles outbreak with vitamin A, nutrients, and prescriptions of budesonide, a steroid that is used to reduce inflammation in your airways. It's an unbelievable story, and it just reminds us how important it is to have a pharmaceutical partner and to be able to get the pharmaceutical products that you need, no matter what the government is pimping or pushing. Um, if this hospital denied this child life saving respiratory treatments, despite the family asking, begging them 4 times for those treatments, then this is a big story. And it could be the case that it was not measles that killed this child, yet it was indeed a refusal to care, a refusal to treat and obey government health protocols. If this hospital injected that child when they were sick with measles with any vaccines, and that's unknown at this point, as I talked to the doctor, then we are also looking at a very, very disturbing situation, right? Is the federal government or state governments or the CDC or the AMA or the Association of American Pediatrics, are they recommending, when they're recommending mass vaccination to parents to treat or prevent measles, could we be injecting kids with vaccines when they're already sick, which is a disastrous idea? So we're going to look at this story, but at the end of the day, it's, I mean, an amazing story. And a local pilot flew in cod liver oil. It was just an amazing story. So we're going to look at that in the next segment of the Shannon Joy Show. And then another very positive story coming out of Florida. This is the headline from Alachua Chronicle, which is a local independent reporting outlet in Florida. Governor Ron DeSantis and First Lady Casey DeSantis call to protect patient freedom and permanently ban mRNA mandates in the great state of Florida. So this is a good development. We still need to move forward with actually banning the mRNA, which is being called for by Mary Talley Bowden, Dr. Peter McCullough, and Dr. Robert Malone, among others. But this is a step forward. They are making those mRNA mandates permanently banned in the state of Florida. They need to extend that to childhood vaccine mandates. They haven't used that language, but as of right now, I don't think there are any mandates in the state of Florida.
You have to stay healthy and well at times like this. You know that I often have suffered from mobility issues, and now I don't. Part of my lifestyle is Native Path collagen. So Native Path's collagen formula is made with ingredients that are scientifically developed to increase bone mineral density, support tissue recovery, reduce wrinkles, enhance hair thickness, and strengthen nails. Who wouldn't want more collagen with all of these benefits? So right now, when you visit getnativepath.com/daily clout, you can stock up on Native Path collagen for up to an incredible 45% off today, plus free shipping. Every order comes with a 365-day money-back guarantee. You can try it risk-free today. It is a single ingredient formula with no fillers, additives, or artificial sweeteners, and it's third-party tested for heavy metals, which makes sure that it's pure and safe. It's flavorless. You can add it to anything. I add it to my oatmeal. You can add it to coffee or smoothies. Its formula makes it more bioavailable, meaning it's absorbed more easily and mixes without clumping. And the best part is Native Path is offering amazing bundle deals, 3 or 6 packs at a fraction of the price of other brands. With over 4 million jars sold, 1 million happy customers, 8,000 five-star reviews, and a 365-day no-risk guarantee, Native Path is a trusted choice, and they offer an 800 number. You can ask any question. A real person is waiting to help. You can join a private Facebook community. I love these people. Share recipes, success stories. So that's getnativepath.com/daily clout and start your experience of transformation today.
But if they have robust exemptions. So there's more to be done, but banning the mandates is a really great start. And so it appears that what we can't do in the federal government at HHS with Bobby Kennedy Jr. and Trump in office, we will maybe be able to do at the state level. And hopefully this will continue to launch other initiatives in other states across this country as we wrestle against these unconstitutional and devastating mandates that they always want to slip in. Another great piece of news that I did not link in the top headlines for today, but apparently in Hawaii, the move to claw back religious exemptions for children as a condition, as a way to get out of the CDC recommended childhood vaccine schedule mandates to attend school in Hawaii. Apparently, that went down in flames after massive response and massive pushback. A lot of that pushback was led by one of the great friends of the Shannon Joy Show, Michael Kane, and his initiative over at Teachers for Choice. So he pushed out a lot of information on that. We are really, really thankful for all of his work. So let's go back to, so we're going to look at, we're going to dive deep into what happened in Lubbock, Texas, because it's just everything. It's everything. It's a community not waiting for the federal guidance or the CDC. In fact, a community actually going against the federal government and the guidance, a community taking the lives and the health and the wellness of their own children into their own hands, coming together with an amazing country doctor to save so many lives. This is everything. This is the mission of the Shannon Joy Show, is to get as many people off of this belief that the federal government has any answers at all about anything, whether it's health, the economy, crypto, money, borders, you name it. We need to stop depending on the feds and waiting for them to save us. In fact, they always make things worse. They're fixing to grow the budget again and grow the size and scope of government again under the Trump administration, and even maybe lock us down again if they can get away with it. Everything is at the local level, all of the answers. And listen, I'm not saying that there is a utopia. Local governments have their problems as well, but that is the vision of the founding of this country 250 plus years ago, and the framers of our Constitution. The federal government was never supposed to be as big as it is today. It was supposed to be very limited, very small, and their powers were limited to a few pages. It was laid out in the Constitution. We are upside down, completely upside down right now, and we don't have to be, right? We have power at the local level. The individual has power to decide to go along with or refuse to comply. And there's going to have to be a lot of refusal to comply in the coming months and years. And this little town in Lubbock, Texas, achieved that. It's a great story, and we want to make sure that we feature that. All right, so let's go to your live chat. Bill Benz is with us. You look great. Yes. Thank you for reminding me of Dr. William Mackis. He is an amazing friend of the Shannon Joy Show and an amazing doctor up in Canada, treating cancers very similarly to the way Dr. Pierre Corey and Dr. Paul Merrick here in the States, with ivermectin, repurposed drugs, and holistic natural healing. And Canada is trying to utterly destroy him. I reposted a tweet from him. They are persecuting him. It's unlike anything I have seen. It's up there, and it might be worse than Dr. Mary Kelly Bowden. So we're going to work on getting Dr. Mackis on the Shannon Joy Show so we can support him. But if you are following him on Substack, make sure you follow Dr. William Mackis on Substack and consider subscribing to his Substack page. I think I do subscribe. I think I pay $5-10 a month to support his efforts. So thank you, Bill Benz, for reminding me of Dr. William Mackis. We have to support each other. Buskman is with us on the live chat. And yeah, Buskman, please do not show the Tate video. Let people watch it from your show notes if they want. Yeah, I'm not going to show the Tate. I don't want to show these Tate videos. The only reason I do it is because sometimes you have to shock people into knowledge of what is out there. And people have to see it. I think everyone should send this video to every conservative thought leader that is out there defending the Tates or trying to twist this into a free speech issue. They need to be slapped in the face with that video so they understand what they're getting behind. And I'm completely behind that. So we have Ranger 1791 with us today. Jason Whitlock's take on Tate was horrible. He needs to stop being lazy on things like this because on so many other issues, he is based. Jason Whitlock's take yesterday looked like a hostage video. He came out with a very strong take on the Tates. And then apparently someone from the Blaze got to him, or someone got to him, I'm not sure. But he went in and did this mealy mouth defense of how the Tates are, well, we can't ignore that our young men really get behind the Tates. And as long as blah, 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 it was awful. In fact, I almost pulled that clip to show you today, but I don't want to spend the whole day on the Tates. So Ranger 1791, you are absolutely right about that. Let's see. People the We said, Shannon sucks. First time here, I guess it's my last. And Fez Woody said, don't let the door hit you on the way out. See you later, people the We. So funny. Yeah, Ranger 1791. Yup, Whitlock posted a lame response to the criticism. Pathetic. I don't know what is going on at the Blaze. I don't know what is going on at the Blaze. Be my Valentine. How horrific if the hospital is culpable in a child's death. Well, we saw death via protocol, murder via government protocol, or hospitals following government COVID-19 protocols in mass in 2020 and 21. Mass culling of humans. Government is okay with culling chickens. Apparently during COVID-19, they were okay with withholding treatment and incentivizing through cash hospitals to administer the death protocol, which was a failed PCR test, then isolation, dehydration, remdesivir, ventilator, and then death. And this was devastating. Vaxxed 3, horrifying documentary put out by Children's Health Defense. Interview after interview after interview after interview of family members and loved ones who watched helpless as their loved ones were murdered in hospitals across the United States of America and then paid for it by the federal government. This is a story that no one's reporting on anymore, anywhere. It's devastating. It was democide. And if the government can cull chickens and cows, well, if they look at us as herds, which they do, then apparently they're okay with culling humans as well. And that happened in 2020 under President Donald Trump. It also happened in 2021 under President Joe Biden. Perfect example of the uniparty right there. All right. So let's do this. Annie, how are we doing on time? Perfect. Wow, I'm getting good at this. Right on the 30-minute mark, we're going to go to the first break. And KB Smile on the live chat, they are using the same PCR test scam for the latest measles scare as well. Really disturbing that this is coming from our administration, and it's coming from Bobby Kennedy Jr.'s HHS. Like, luckily we have Ron DeSantis and Casey DeSantis. Luckily we have local communities in Texas standing up. Luckily we have all kinds of lawsuits that are still pending and organization and state and local actions, but we are not going to get anything. And I saw that Robert Malone is saying that Bobby Kennedy has not betrayed us. I think he has. I think this is a betrayal by Bobby Kennedy Jr. He did a lot of great things in the first 20 years of his advocacy. Now he is a politician. He is in Washington, D.C., and he chose to do that. He chose to take the deal. It's very obvious that the deal means he can only talk about food and Doritos and red dye and mimic back the talking points of Fauci and Birx and the CDC and the pharmaceutical lobby. That's what he's done so far. So I'm just calling a spade a spade. You can still like him and hope and pray that he changes or changes course, but looks like we're going to have to do this as well. All right, guys, let's go to break and take a look at some of our sponsors. I really do want to. Today, we're going to feature three amazing sponsors, among our others, in the Shannon Joy Show. Native Path Collagen, you're going to hear from them. They're doing a great deal for the Joy audience and the Joy audience only. It's 45% off. And collagen is a regular part of my morning routine. And when we come back, I'm going to talk to you about my new show prep routine and my morning routine. Again, it does involve Native Path. Of course, we've got to talk about all family pharmacy, especially in context of this story from Children's Health Defense. Budesonide is a steroid. It is a prescription. And, what could things have been different if families were connected with a pharmacy that isn't going to play games or follow government protocols when they really need prescriptions?
Hey everyone, Naomi Wolf here. How are you doing with your New Year's resolutions? January is here. My start was pretty easy. My resolution was to focus on my well-being, and we all know that the foundation of well-being is a good night's sleep. So if I could do just one thing to improve my sleep and overall well-being, it is taking the number one mineral for sleep, which also helps me personally on so many levels. Yes, I am talking about magnesium. Actually, I am talking about the Magnesium Breakthrough by Bioptimizers. It's 7 different forms of magnesium in this supplement, which are involved in over 600 different biochemical reactions in the body. Pretty much every function in your body is upgraded when you do take magnesium, from the quality of your sleep for your brain function, metabolism, to your stress levels. And even if your 2025 resolution is not to focus on your health, as mine is, how are you really going to be able to achieve all your goals without quality sleep and stress management support? It's hard to do that. So please do yourself a favor and make Magnesium Breakthrough part of your daily routine this year so you can get the vitality that you need to conquer your dreams. Go to byoptimizers.com/Daily Clout now and enter promo code Daily Clout to get 10% off of any order. And if you subscribe, not only will you get amazing discounts and free gifts, you will make sure that your monthly supply is guaranteed. Again, that's byoptimizers.com/Daily Clout, promo code Daily Clout. Take care.
This is why I am so blessed to feature All Family Pharmacy as a sponsor of the Shannon Joy Show. They are helping so many thousands of Americans get the pharmaceutical products that they need, including ivermectin at great prices and in bulk, right? And so this story is incredibly important in understanding that in order to have peace of mind and to really protect your family and be prepared, you want to set up that relationship. allfamilypharma.com/joy. That's allfamilypharmacy.com/joy is the website there. And we're also going to talk about the satellite phone store as well. So we're going to go to break. When we come back, we'll get into my morning routine, and then we will take a deep dive into this exclusive from Children's Health Defense on just normal doctoring, a Texas doctor's eyewitness report on the measles outbreak. Then at the top of the hour, we will then begin. We'll do our deep dive on Peter Schiff and hit the headline of today's show, which is, it's truly atrocious, blatant pump and dump crypto scam from the Trump administration. Can't make it up. We'll be back here on the Shannon Joy Show in just a minute. Welcome back, everyone, to the Shannon Joy Show. And thank you to our sponsors. Please make sure to patronize our sponsors. It's the way that we keep the lights on here at the Shannon Joy Show. And yeah, I actually use the products that are advertised. In fact, I think I've been working with Native Path, and not even as advertisers. They were advertisers, I want to say they came on maybe a year and a half ago. But I love their products, and I've been using their products for well over a year. And so it's great to bring them back into the Joy family. But the collagen is something that I'm just obsessed with. It is an anti-aging kind of beauty secret. As you age, you produce less collagen, and that impacts your hair and your nails and your skin. And I just see such a big difference when I am using the collagen regularly as part of my morning routine. And so the native path collagen goes right in your coffee. It's super easy. But as you know, guys, I've changed my morning routine, and it's impacting my show prep. So I want to let you guys know, because this is my attempt at this point. I'm getting so annoyed and irritated that the algorithms and the manipulated promotion on so many even conservative outlets and platforms are really shaping the way that we think. And I don't even want my thinking to be shaped, right? So I've come up with this harebrained idea. I've been doing it actually for quite a while. And in the mornings, I am making rules for myself. And it's part of me reclaiming, I think, like my humanity, right? And my own thoughts and how I come to conclusions and what I want to talk about on the show and what I want to present to you guys on the show. And so what I do in the mornings, when I wake up, I do not look at my phone. In fact, I get up usually around 6:30, and I usually don't even look at my phone until about 8:30. So I don't look at any social media, right? I have 2 full hours. I get the kids out the door to school. I kiss devastatingly handsome Dr. Joy goodbye. I do 30 push-ups and 50 sit-ups. So that's new, and that's been great. I'm feeling really good with that. Of course, I have my collagen and my hydration and my field of greens, like my fruits and vegetables. And then I sit down for my devotion. And when there's a lot of chaos, when the news cycle is just relentless, which it is, I really feel like retreating back in and just reading scripture and praying. As you guys know, I do a chronological reading of the Bible. So, and it's a kind of a modified chronological. I read the Old Testament and the New Testament at the same time chronologically. So right now I'm in Philippians in the New Testament, and I am in, Kings maybe in the Old Testament. And so I read them chronologically, and I also add in a corresponding chapter of Proverbs and Psalms. And I'm doing that every single morning, and then I'm praying. And I just feel like it's settling everything. Like it's really collecting my thoughts, and it's allowing me to just like think about the things that are important to, my family, that I think are important to all of you, and reorder things. And then when I go to do my show prep, I literally sit down and I write it before I look at anything. Before I look at any social media, I kind of write down the ideas and the thoughts and the stories that I want to, dive in with a little bit more. And then and only then do I go in and pop onto Twitter or Facebook or Rumble, right? Because then I feel like I'm spiritually prepared to, face the onslaught of news media. I've also made it a habit to pick my sources. Rather than letting the algorithm feed me news, I am being very diligent and mindful about choosing my sources. And I share those sources with you guys all the time. Sasha Latapova, Catherine Austin Fitz, David Knight, David Leach, Strident Conservative, Daniel Horowitz, and a host of other platforms, Unlimited Hangout with Whitney Webb, and other sources. And so when I'm diligent about seeing what they are reporting, and these are because they're trusted, right? I vet them. I'm looking for people outside of the two-party political paradigm that is controlling so much of the media and social media and conservative media today. And so this is a way, guys, I am feeling so much better. So much better. Sometimes it's just so frenetic and it's so confusing, but that grounding and rooting in the word is everything. We can't lean on our own understanding, right? And there is so much wisdom in the Bible. There is nothing new under the sun. This story repeats over and over and over. And so once you understand that the nature of this world is like cyclical, as opposed to like, we're approaching the end of times, then you're just happier. You're not fearful anymore. And so that's what I've been doing. And Mark the Reagan, thank you, moderator. So thank you, Annie, for removing the troll. That's been my morning routine. And this is how I'm building the show every day. And I hope it makes this show different. I hope it makes it so that we can really focus and, get out of the weeds and all the periphery stories that don't mean anything. I mean, there's so many headlines about the State of the Union address, Trump's State of the Union address. And there are so many headlines taking apart, hours and hours of wasted time analyzing all of the mechanisms of Doge and all of the executive orders, when at the end of the day, none of them even matter. They're not achieving anything. Nothing really matters until we have the budget bills, until we have the writing on the paper. And so it helps to focus our energies. And again, it's, from my perspective, kind of reclaiming my humanity. And so in addition, obviously, to my morning routine, it is, just the health aspect as well. And so I should make Native Path be the sponsor of this little segment on my routine, because as you know, the coffee is always there and the collagen is always in the coffee, and you can get it for 45% off at Native Path. Get nativepathcollagen.com/joy. So let's get to, and Annie, if you want to take a look, if you guys have comments, if you guys have comments, please pop them in all caps in the live chat and we will read them. And yes, thank you, Annie, for removing the bot troll. So let's get to this story. It is the good news. This exclusive Just Normal Doctoring, Texas doctor's eyewitness report on the measles outbreak. So Dr. Ben Edwards, I was really blessed to talk to him last night on the phone. We spent a good amount of time together, and he's an integrative. This is from Children's Health Defense. It is one of the top stories in my stack of must read, the curated top headlines that mean something to you for Thursday, March 6th. And he's an integrative medicine and family practitioner in Lubbock, Texas. He is on the ground in Gaines County helping families whose children have measles. And what I learned actually is that this is a large Mennonite community. So it's isolated to a Mennonite community in Texas, and they really are like pumping this up and ramping this up. This actually reminds me a lot, for those of you who live in New York, or you followed vaccine mandates or the ripping away of religious exemptions in New York State and California. It reminds me of the Rockland County measles fake scare that was promoted all over the country that targeted Hasidic Jews in Rockland County. And it was a vicious campaign. It was measles. And literally 3 months or so after that propaganda attempt and the pushing out of that propaganda, New York State legislators at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, skulked in and passed the legislation to claw back the religious exemption in New York, which tossed 26,000 children out of school. Private, Christian, public, parochial schools in every way. They're denied education. It was brutal. It was disgusting. And they used that measles epidemic in this small religious community to do it. And so when I saw what was going down with the Mennonites in Texas, I'm like, we've got to be very careful. And I would call for the residents of Texas to be very vigilant about their legislature in the next couple months, because they will use it. They can get away with this. They'll use it. But the brilliance of the local pushback and this local doctor is that they were able to treat and save so many children outside of the recommended protocols, and will hopefully deny any of that reporting that could be used to pass terrible bills. So in an exclusive interview, Dr. Ben Edwards shares the backstory on the positive results that he and other Texas doctors have recently seen using the treatments, using alternative treatments in responding to the West Texas measles outbreak. He said that using cod liver oil and prescription budesonide and also vitamins, vitamin A particularly, they've been able to effectively treat and save so many kids. According to Edwards, the February 26th death of a child who tested positive for measles might have been prevented if hospital staff had given her breathing treatments such as budesonide. It is being reported that the parents of this child asked for respiratory treatments multiple times, and they were not administered at this hospital. We'll get into that in a moment. Tragic, absolutely tragic. You notice that in Children's Health Defense, they say the death of a Texas child who tested positive for measles. So it is unclear if they were sick with measles. Again, they're using shady PCR testing as noted in the live chat. And so we have to really keep an eye on them on how they determine whether or not you technically have measles. But these kids were clearly sick, said Dr. Edwards. On Saturday, March 2nd, Edwards received a call from Gaines County resident Tina Siemens. Tina said that the little girl who died, her parents were real worried, and they were worried about their 4 other children that were all younger and very sick. They asked Dr. Edwards to come and treat them. So he drove down. And this is a quote from this story in Children's Health Defense. I'm at the one church. The viewing is going on. So this is absolutely tragic, but he confirmed this to me yesterday when I talked with him. He went to the funeral, and they were at the viewing for this poor innocent child. Lots of people were there, and those kids were there. So I just assessed them and treated them. He wrote a prescription for budesonide, a steroid inhaler that is traditionally used for asthma, but can be very beneficial with the respiratory portion of the measles infection. He also gave the children cod liver oil because that's the best form of vitamin A. So perk up your ears, everyone who's listening to this. Vitamin A deficiency makes measles much, much worse, he said. The measles infection all by itself will deplete you of retinol, which is vitamin A. Before driving home, he also assessed 2 4-month-old twin boys. He's a hero, just a hero. Cousins of the deceased child, he said, who were also very sick with measles. And he did say that most of the kids that were sick were immune compromised. They were lacking in nutrients. They were not healthy children to begin with. He said one of the babies was clinically not in good condition, lethargic, pale, heart rate elevated, respiratory rate elevated with mild to moderate respiratory distress, just a really, really sick baby. He gave the baby cod liver oil and prescribed again the budesonide, then picked up from the pharmacy and delivered it back to the family. That's what this doctor did for them. He said, I saw the child next morning. He looked like a completely different child. I thought it must be a mistake. This can't be the same child. Just the life was back into him in his eyes. It was incredible. He said, this was the first indication to me that budesonide was really going to be a miracle worker. This is a local doctor. This is a community coming together. These are families reaching out and protecting each other and helping each other through these type of health issues. This is what should be happening in town after town after town across the United States of America when they have isolated outbreaks of anything. It gets even more amazing, guys. He said, when a community comes together, he said that, he helped facilitate what he called a massive and amazing team effort to swiftly get high quality cod liver and budesonide to the sick children in Gaines County. When a community comes together in unity and in love and wants to help each other, he said, it's amazing what can happen. When we wait and we're mind-numbed robots and idiots waiting for guidance from people who clearly have conflicts of interest in Washington, D.C., this is when we suffer. This is when we get sick. But when we put our head on straight and use common sense and lean on each other and embrace being a human again, this is when we make a difference. One of Edwards' so on Sunday, a cod liver oil supplier called in, and they were able to accommodate the group's large order. One of Edwards' patients, a private pilot, offered to immediately deliver the oil, so that plane took off and got 1,700 pounds of cod liver oil and vitamin C back on the ground in Gaines County Sunday afternoon around 2:30 p.m. The people in Gaines County met the plane and set up makeshift clinics at the local health food store. They just opened it up for us, brought the chairs, tables, water, all the things. They got word out and people just started coming. I'm going to start crying with this. Like, I have chills reading this to you right now. Edwards estimated he saw about 70 patients at that makeshift clinic that day and made additional home calls to sick kids on his drive back to Lubbock. He said then on Monday, the same thing. He guessed he wrote 100 prescriptions for budesonide. A team of local volunteers located pharmacies in the area that had it in stock so that parents could quickly get the prescriptions filled. Unbelievable. Tragically, according to Edwards, the father of the little girl who died on February 26 after testing positive, says that he asked the hospital staff in Lubbock, where his daughter has been hospitalized, to give his child breathing treatments, but the staff refused. We need more investigation into that story, a lot more investigation into the medical records and what happened at that hospital. He said this is what's been told by the father to his community. So the community is now extremely hesitant to go to the Lubbock hospital, as they should be. As they should be. What are your thoughts on that, guys? I mean, it's a great story. It is linked. Thank you so much to Children's Health Defense and the great work that they're doing over at Children's Health Defense to bring these stories. KB Smile on the live chat. Healing over stealing health. Absolutely. Absolutely. Is the cod oil liver in liquid form or capsules? Asks Rothan Walker. I'm not sure. LT Oracle of Truth. I have severe asthma. I have a portable nebulizer or tabletop one. You know, we really do have to keep, right, our health and put our health in our own hands and take responsibility for our own health. And this just brilliant, beautiful, amazing story. And we'll see if we can get Dr. Edwards on the show. He's a very humble, very amazing, private gentleman. And so I'm sure he doesn't want any accolades or, you know, any publicity. But thank you to this brave doctor who not only treated these children, but shared his story with Children's Health Defense so that it can be shared with doctors all over the country as our federal government, again, tries to inflict the fear porn on us about measles with really dumb recommendations by the federal government and tragically HHS saying that we should all get vaccinated, right? No mention of these treatments. Well, there was a mention of vitamin A by Robert Kennedy Jr. in his statement, but you know, not cod liver oil or budesonol to my knowledge. So thank you for that. You guys are great. And yeah, looking for comments on this story and what your thoughts are. Absolutely tragic that these protocols are in place in so many hospitals and that parents are now, because they've been properly, you know, terrified over the measles epidemic in Texas, are going to vaccinate their kids when they wouldn't normally vaccinate their kids, not knowing about the severe and potentially life-altering or life-ending adverse reactions that come from the childhood vaccine schedule, particularly the MMR vaccine. It's just terrible. All right, so let's go to break. When we come back, Annie, what time do we have here on the Shannon Joy Show? I think we're going to go to a quick break, and then we are going to get into the videos, the clips of Peter Schiff, who is blowing the lid off of this outrageous, blatant and outrageous crypto rug pull, a pump and dump that happened in real time. He lays all of it out in a brilliant segment that we broke up on his platform on YouTube. Everybody needs to listen up and pay attention to this so that you don't get scammed and that we can begin to actively lobby our legislators at the state level to resist any attempts whatsoever to set up crypto reserves or Bitcoin reserves as part of their state reserves. And this is a movement. There are heavy lobbyists, likely backed by BlackRock, who is backing Bitcoin, who have a huge money interest in getting your state officials to set up this pump and dump scam and use your money to do it, taxpayer dollars. We've got to resist that. So everyone needs to pay attention to what they're doing. When we come back, we'll look at those video clips and more here on the Shannon Joy Show. Welcome back, everyone, to the Shannon Joy Show. Allfamilypharmacy.com. Allfamilypharmacy.com. After the story I just read to you about these families just outside of Lubbock, Texas, denied life-saving treatments in the same way that so many Americans were denied hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin. Do not put it past this government. Even though many people think that the good guys are in office, do not put it past this government, the CDC, and pharmacies even, like CVS or Walgreens, to deny you life-saving treatments or pharmaceutical products because of politics. And this is why establishing a relationship with All Family Pharmacy is so important. They are amazing sponsors of the Shannon Joy Show. It is so easy to work with them. You basically send them your prescription. They work with your doctor. They approve the prescription and they ship it to your door. Right? You can also buy in bulk. So if you are dependent on certain pharmaceutical products for your survival, you have the option to buy in bulk, and you can get 10% off your first order when you use the Joy10 promo code. So that is allfamilypharmacy.com/joy. allfamilypharmacy.com/joy. There is a direct correlation between preparation and peace of mind. Right? So the more prepared that you are, the more peace of mind that you have, the less you'll panic or be, dependent on a government institution to help you out or take care of you if there really is an emergency. And we endeavor to be uber prepared here at the Shannon Joy Show in all ways, right? Spiritually, mentally, physically, and also, with our pharmaceutical products. So let's go. Strident Conservative is on the live chat. Update here. Roger Stone has now confirmed that it was Richard Grenell, U.S. Special Envoy, who pressured Romania to release the Tate brothers. So the most powerful promoter of the Tate pimps is the President of the United States of America through his Special Envoy, Richard Grenell. And Roger Stone is a total dirtbag as well, to be honest. Another update from Strident Conservative. Please follow him. That is David Leach, stridentconservative.com. Also just saw a tweet showing that BlackRock is the U.S. company Trump is using to try and reclaim the Panama Canal. Not good at all. And BlackRock is the company that is behind pimping Bitcoin and this crazy crypto craze that has, gripped the United States of America. It's being promoted by everyone. Thank you for the links, Strident Conservative. I really appreciate you. So let's get into this. The normalization of insider trading, right? We don't like it when Nancy Pelosi does it. We don't like it when Pelosi and the Democrats do it on the DL. We don't like it when Joe Biden and Hunter Biden launder money through Ukraine to fund whatever it is and, make their family incredibly wealthy and do it on the DL in the secret. Well, the Trump administration is now shifting the paradigm, moving the Overton window, and actually grooming and conditioning conservatives, fiscal conservatives, and libertarians to not only accept blatant in-your-face insider trading along with the middle finger, but also defend it. It's mind-blowing. Not only through the recent pump and dump scheme, but also through the Sovereign Wealth Fund. You will see in the show notes that Mises has a incredible piece just tearing apart the Sovereign Wealth Fund, which they are calling Trump's slush fund. It is the antithesis of free market capitalism, and it's being it's basically being rebranded to a conservative audience by this administration. We have to resist this. Let's get to Peter Schiff right now because he laid this out exactly what happened over the weekend in really stark terms, and he's a great explainer. So we're going to let Peter Schiff do a lot of the heavy lifting for the remainder of this show. We are going to be video clip heavy because I have well over 17 minutes of clip that I want to share with you as Peter Schiff explains this outrageous crypto pump and dump scheme that happened just this weekend that really no one else is reporting. Let's go to clip 1, Annie, where he lays out basically what happened in the gist of the story.
Talking about the crypto pump that's been going on all day since early afternoon. And I think that's particularly important given my title for my last podcast, which was the Trump crypto bubble has finally popped. And I still believe that it's popped, even though they're trying to blow some air back into it on a Sunday. But when I did the podcast on Tuesday, Bitcoin had just slipped into a technical bear market. It was down 20% from its 109,000 post-election peak, which happened, I think, in November last year. We were trading around 87,000. We had been below 86 earlier. By Friday morning, Bitcoin almost broke below 78,000. So it was close to a 30% decline from top to bottom at that point. But, other tokens, Ethereum almost got below 2,000. It got below 2,100. So it was down 50%. I mean, strategy was getting obliterated, down over 50%. And that was after blowing another 2 billion, buying more Bitcoin just before the market tanked. I'm sure he bought more, Saylor did, during the week. We'll find out on Monday morning just how much more Bitcoin, he bought and how much he blew buying it. But all the altcoins, everything was getting smoked in crypto. Now, we had a bounce on Friday, and I believe we would have had another collapse Sunday night. And in fact, if you look at the chart of Bitcoin and all the other altcoins, the market was getting ready to roll over early this afternoon. Bitcoin to me looked like it was getting ready to just go back down below 80,000. It was, I think, trading just under 85,000. It looked like it had peaked out and we were headed lower. And then out of the blue came a post on the social media account of the president on Truth Social that sent the price of Bitcoin rising $10,000 in maybe an hour or so. So we went from 85,000 to 95,000. We're still holding on to most of those gains as I'm recording this podcast live. We're still above 93,000 on Bitcoin, but Bitcoin wasn't the big mover. And it wasn't even Ethereum, which was also up quite a bit, maybe, 12, 13%. I think Bitcoin, popped a similar amount. But the big movers were Solana, Cardano, Ripple. Those things ripped 30% or more. Why? It was because of a post on Truth Social that was highly touted all over X and, all over the crypto sphere. And, basically completely misconstrued and advertised as if Trump had just announced that a strategic reserve has been established, that it's a done deal, that it's going to happen. And it's going to include Ripple, Cardano, and Solana. That's why those three tokens went up the most, because they were specifically mentioned in the post as being part of the reserve that was supposedly going to be established.
All right, that was the first part of the analysis by Peter Schiff. The entire analysis is linked in the show notes of the Shannon Joy Show, where he kind of lays out the groundwork, regarding what happened on Sunday this past week. So he's telling us that all of crypto was pretty much tanking, Bitcoin especially. And there was likely a little bit of a panic. And I'm sure there were some discussions. We know that BlackRock is heavily invested into Bitcoin. Larry Fink, the head of BlackRock, is a close personal advisor, financial advisor of Donald Trump. That is widely reported and well established. What happened in that time, we don't know, but Trump pushed out a tweet on social media that was then taken by Elon and platformed even more on Twitter, right? So a campaign, so to speak, and advertising campaign, so to speak, platforming the most powerful man on the face of the planet, talking about establishing strategic reserves at the federal level, and then also calling out specific digital coins and crypto coins. He didn't mention Bitcoin in that first tweet, and it must have angered some of the people in Bitcoin because very shortly after that first tweet, he issued a subsequent tweet that then promoted Bitcoin, sending their valuations skyrocketing. Peter Schiff goes on to explain how that happened in this next clip. Go ahead, Annie, with clip number 2.
Well, all this, first of all, is BS because no such announcement was actually made. So if you just read how the crypto crowd was communicating what was posted on Trump's account, you would think that, it's a done deal. That was what the promoters, the pumpers, wanted everyone to believe. And of course, I don't think it's a coincidence that it came out early Sunday afternoon when none of the official stock markets are trading. So none of the ETFs anywhere in the world are operating. They were still asleep in Asia. They waited for a time where the markets were as thin as possible so that the pump could create as big a rise as possible. So it was timed. And in fact, again, if you look at the chart intraday, they waited until Bitcoin was at the low that it had been of the day and just ready to just roll over to put out the post. And I think that one of the reasons that we got a bounce in crypto on Friday is that people were buying because they knew that this Sunday morning post was coming. They had the insider information and they were able to load up specifically on these 3 tokens. And, because they knew which ones were going to be in the post. In fact, they may have already written it on Friday, knowing that they were going to put it out there on Sunday. And so a lot of people got rich off of this, which really, the hypocrisy really bothers me, because I was watching, and I'm going to talk about the Elon Musk interview on Joe Rogan. And, I like the fact that they're talking about how these bureaucrats at the USAID are getting rich, basically getting kickbacks from these bogus nonprofits, and how terrible it is that their families are getting rich because the government officials are taking advantage and exploiting their positions to enrich themselves. But that's exactly what Trump is doing with his family. They're getting rich off of this. If Trump was manipulating stocks, it'd be illegal. He could be impeached if he was, giving his family members inside information. Hey, I'm going to put a post out about this particular stock, so you should buy it now, or you should short it because it's going to be a negative post. And then they position themselves to profit. He comes out and he posts something, and the market tanks or goes up, and his kids sell out. Right? It'd be totally illegal. But since he's doing it with crypto, I guess it's completely legal. You can manipulate the crypto market. I guess it's not a crime. You can pump and dump all you want, even if you're the president of the United States, because that's what's going on. But I think it really undercuts, the message of the administration when we're trying to bust the people who did this at USAID, and now, the first family or whoever else or whatever friends of the president are involved in this.
It is so much worse than that. I mean, this is just one obviously blatant example of a pump and dump scheme, insider trading that should be illegal. It probably is illegal, but we now have an administration and a president and unelected officials like Elon Musk at Doge just operating blatantly out in the open in obvious insider trading and crony capitalism. And that's my biggest problem with this is just the blatant way that they're doing it. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. They're not even ashamed of it. They're reestablishing something in the United States of America that should be incredibly troubling to everyone, right? They are establishing the isms. This is what communists do. This is what socialists do. This is not a free market. And Peter Schiff is calling for a congressional investigation into this. He is also signaling the alarm bells because clearly Democrats are going to jump on this and use it. And in this case, they'll be right. If it's not okay for Nancy Pelosi or Joe Biden, then why on earth would it be okay for Donald Trump and Elon Musk? And he asked these questions. Who authored the 2 Sunday afternoon posts on Trump's Truth Social? Who had prior knowledge of the announcement? When were they informed? How much money did those who took advance notice invest in cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and Cardano? And are there emails and text messages among Trump's staff, family, campaign donors, or Truth Social employees related to these crypto announcements? This story, like the Tate story, which I told you a very long time ago, is not going to go away. This is a big deal. And it builds on the problem of the sovereign wealth fund. It builds on the problem with Doge and eliminating or trying to erase bureaucracies and then create gaps and holes in the government that can be filled with contracts to favored contributors like Peter Thiel, Palantir, Elon Musk, you name it. Another great story on my top headlines that you guys are going to want to read. It's a 1-hour read. This is how Whitney Webb writes on Unlimited Hangout. But this is I'm going to be reading the entire thing, and I don't know if I have it right here with the name of this one. Oh, I have it right here. Hold on. This is Dark MAGA, the Government Corp Technate by Ian Davis. And this kind of lays out the new techno feudalism, fascism, like non-constitutional, not even a semblance of democracy. Free markets gone. I mean, that's what's happening. We're witnessing this is happening before our very eyes. And our people are actually cheering for this, which is just astounding. Annie, how much time do we have in this segment before? We have 6 minutes. So I'm not going to be able to get to the last and longest. But this one is 2 minute 8 to 11:30. Let's play the third post and then we'll close it out after that because that's about 3 minutes. So let's play that now and then we'll get to the closing of the show.
I'm going to read the post. This is the actual post that was misrepresented all over X as being okay. This is it. The strategic reserve is here. So here's what he posted. A U.S. crypto reserve will elevate this critical industry after years of corrupt attacks by the Biden administration, which is why my executive order on digital assets directed Presidential Working Group to move forward on a crypto strategic reserve that includes XRP, SOL, and ADA. I will make sure the U.S. is the crypto capital of the world. We are making America great again, expiration point, right? Now, first of all, just on and off the subject, even if, Donald Trump really thought that crypto is a really important industry that America should dominate in, the government should stay out of it. The government is not there to pick winners and losers. If Donald Trump wanted to pick winners and losers, he should have stayed in the private sector and done it with his own money. The government is not there to do this. That's central government planning. That's what the communists do. If it's a free market, and if Trump wants to be a free market president, he stays neutral. He doesn't try to decide hey, crypto is the industry, and so we're going to subsidize it. We're going to use taxpayer money to buy these tokens, and not even the entire industry. Not only is he picking crypto as an industry, he's picking the individual tokens that he thinks are the ones that we need to have. Which, Trump should not be doing this. In reality, the country that is the winner in crypto is the one that wastes the least amount of money on it, which is probably going to be China, right? Because this is a complete waste of time. This is a waste of resources. I'm going to get into our horrific trade deficit later, but our trade deficit is going to keep getting bigger if we waste our money on crypto. So the president is wrong. This is not an industry we want to dominate. It's a digital pyramid scheme. Why the hell would we want to dominate that? But, in a free market, you make mistakes, but the government is not supposed to be making those mistakes. Let the market do it.
And that is the precise point critics of the sovereign wealth fund that Trump is establishing. They're saying, listen, the government shouldn't be gambling with our money. They shouldn't be pumping certain stocks. They shouldn't be creating insider trader situations. They shouldn't be rewarding their cronies or their family members or their associates. Like, this is just basic. This is basic. But the fiscal conservatives and the libertarians and the economic anarchists or whatever they are just like going along with this and gobbling it up. This is a great piece from Mises on the Sovereign Wealth Fund that was established by President Trump. He said the fund would be on order of $2 trillion, investing in things like manufacturing hubs, defense, and medical resource. The order states, and then they read the order that he submitted. This is what Mises had to say, and Mises Institute, great organization, about this sovereign wealth fund. This order reflects a new anti-capitalist economic orientation of the Republican Party, embracing fallacies that government can somehow be made efficient, that tariffs can perform miracles like saving the fiat dollar from destruction, and that selecting the right executive personnel like Doge is a substitute for rule of law. Republicans have evidently forgotten the eternal economic truth that planning not driven by free markets doesn't work. We've already always understood this, but apparently we all have collective amnesia when Trump gets in office and hands it over, many of these mechanics over to Elon Musk and Doge, unelected officials. Government shouldn't be trying to pick winners and losers in the business world, period. Whatever claim Republicans had to be pro-liberty, pro-constitution, pro-free market, etc., is gone now. That's Mises.org. That is linked in the show notes of the Shannon Joy Show. If you thought manipulating the dollar was bad, if you thought manipulating the stock market was bad, if you thought the revolving door that RFK Jr. talked about so many times was bad, if you thought USAID was bad in their waste, fraud, and abuse, buckle up. When the federal government gets to force you onto a programmable, confiscatable, controllable, and surveillable digital coin, right? That a massive pyramid scheme beyond anything we've seen in the past 80 years. If you thought it was bad now, get ready, buckle up. It's only getting worse. And it's being ushered in to the clapping seals in the Republican Party and on the conservative right. People who are so-called fiscal conservatives. It's outrageous. It's outrageous. And this pump and dump is just the most blatant of the recent expansions into this arena by the President of the United States of America. We need to resist this. We need to get organized and activated at the local level to resist all digital strategic reserves, period. There is one thing that they can't mess with, and that's good old-fashioned gold and silver, especially in the safe in your home, but also the gold and silver backed, IRAs and 401ks. And I'm really super thankful that we're going to be bringing Paul Stone, the founder CEO of Colonial Metals Group, into the Joy Virtual Studio tomorrow. He's going to have a lot to say about all of this. We have to wrap up. Thank you guys so much for being with us today on the show. And a huge shout out to our friends over at the Satellite Phone Store. The mission here on this program is to get all of you and myself as prepared as possible for the coming chaos. There's chaos in the markets, chaos in our healthcare communities, chaos in education, in politics, and the folks over at the satellite phone store are such amazing partners on this show in helping people get prepared in every way, shape, or form. I sent my son Jack down to college with a satellite phone store Faraday bag. It is a bulletproof Faraday bag that will protect his devices from an EMP attack in any type of chaos or any type of emergency. They have a whole line of generators and solar panels. Their dark bags are amazing. They have satellite phones so that you can be a blessing to your community, and great plans for the Joy audience. Everything is 10% off with the Joy promo code. And they have a special deal for the Joy audience. If you sign up for your cell phone plan, you'll get a free satellite phone plan. You'll get a free satellite phone and also a free bulletproof Faraday backpack, which is an amazing value. Please go to sat123.com/joy right now. That is sat123.com/joy. Thank you so much for being with us today. We'll be back tomorrow to do it all again right here on the Shannon Joy Show.